All right, we are live. So this is always live, right? No pre-canned videos. This is gonna be something. So fucking big screen. Oh my god. Anyway, what I'm doing on this video is I bought a 2080 Ti, an EVGA Black Edition, and I thought rather than the usual stuff, I thought I would share with some viewers a bit about why I'm doing this, what problems I'm trying to solve by changing my graphics card, and a bit of data around why that's a good thing, or why I need that. I'm always trying to do the best for streaming. I'm new at this stuff, and I love it. So it's working out quite well. Yeah. So this is all live. It's going to be a fuck up. It's a two-part series. I'll talk through the data why, then I'm going to go have a drink and whatever, and fit the new card. Then we'll play some Star Citizen and look at performance changes and telemetry. So yeah, that's good. And I've also given up smoking now for maybe 2 weeks and vaping instead. So you'll have to excuse me continually doing that through the stream. So yeah, the issue I had, you'll notice through some of the early streams I was doing, fucking terrible performance. I'm currently running a 980 Ti, and that 980 Ti has done pretty well, but when I'm trying to stream and trying to use GPU encoding, I hit so much weird lag, and thanks for those who stuck with me during the laggy periods. And I'm happy to say that they were temporarily resolved by pushing the encoding onto the CPU. I'm running an i7 6-core, and I'll bring this up in just a sec and take you through it. But it's a 6-core 12 processor, 3.3 i7, the 5820K. So I pushed, and it's water cooled as well, which is good. But I pushed the encoding onto CPU, and as you'll know, Star Citizen is pretty hungry on the CPU and also on the GPU. So the 980 Ti runs 4 gig of memory, and when I'm running Star Citizen, it's maxed out all the time, and that sucks, you know. So yeah, so it was time to do an upgrade of graphics, and I'll take you through my thinking on it. First of all, I'm just gonna share a screen with you. So these are the specs of the PC that I'm running Star Citizen on, and I'll talk about Star Citizen performance in a sec. So CPU, 12 processor, 6-core. It's pretty beasty, although it's a i7, one of the X99s. So that's starting to notice. At some point in time, I'll need to do something about it, but it's still good for the time being. In terms of processors, you can see Streamlabs on the GPU with I run a 3-monitor setup, and I'm running 2 monitors right now, and you can see what it's doing to GPU already. In terms of memory, as you'll know, Star Citizen is extremely memory intensive. I run 32 gig of Corsair memory. It's the 3200. I'm currently running at 2133 just because of the mainboard setup. You'll also know as well that an SSD is almost a requirement of Star Citizen. I run my gaming is on an M2, and I'll talk through that in the. Hey, Christian, dude, how are you? Good to see you, man. How is everything going? Yeah, so the SSD is essential really. So I put all my game cache and game files on a separate M2, which is pretty fast, and I'll show you that in the telemetry data. And then of course the GTX 980. So let's talk about telemetry. The Telemetry app is super useful. So this is part of what RSI offer. And basically when you're gaming, you are sending data back to RSI, and they're analyzing that data and comparing it with other like-for-like systems to help you understand where your performance is. It's available on the apps via their website. And this is where I am right now. And I'll just talk through the aspects of the Telemetry app. So specifications, I typically run in high because of the graphics issue. And Christian, you'll know this about the terrible buffering that we had. Oh, fantastic. You've had a vacation to Barcelona. What were the temperatures like out there? It'd be nice. So we had a lot of issues with buffering. So I was running on high. My GPU score 24 is a nice temperature, Christian. My CPU score and GPU score 102, 103. We'll look at that in perspective in a sec. My latency to the servers, the community averages are 74. I'm at 37, which is good. I think partly that is why I don't notice some of the issues that people have higher latency see. That's not because I'm on some crazy ass connection. My connection is like, I don't know, 48 meg down and like 6 up, something like that. Yeah, I hope for no buffering. And then looking at SSD, so this is why SSD is so important. Average loading time for me is 30 seconds. I have dedicated SSD just for gaming. It's a very fast SSD. Community average is 36. I'm running at 30. No, average load time. No, average load time. Community. Where's my? Okay, so it doesn't give. Okay, so community average is 36 milliseconds, and on hard drive you can see 107 milliseconds. So huge difference between HD and SSD. If you don't have an SSD and you're trying to play Star Citizen, I think you're going to run into some issues. Loading times, etc., just again comparative against 3.5, 3.4, and stability score is a comparative again of 3.5 to 3.4. But this is the cool part that we're going to focus on. Down here, this is showing us our minimum configuration that's recommended by CIG, and a recommended configuration which is here upwards. I've seen some interesting stuff in here, which is why I only changed GPU. So my configuration is sat around here, and if I click on that, I'm able to see what my average frames per second are, 47.3. And it gives you some information about others that are like for like. So interestingly, here you're seeing GTX 1070s, Radeon 590. Wow. And then typically i7 58020s, which is what I've got, 6 cores, and the 8750 2.2. So people with those kind of setups are averaging around 47. If we take a look in the recommended, then you jump up a bit. So you see the AMD Ryzen's are sitting heavy here. We're looking at the GTX 1080s, RTX 2070. So that's kind of interesting because it doesn't tell me there's a huge amount of difference in here for a great performance increase. So I could change CPUs, etc. But to do that, they're only getting 49.6, and here I'm getting 47.3. That's an expensive 2 frames per second for my current rig. If we just go across a little bit and start looking at these colors. So these colors here correspond to the frames per second. So if we just go to the right a bit, 58.3, and you're starting to look at 1080s, typically another i7 580. So I'm moving right on the GPU score, but I will get some CPU benefit back because I won't be streaming. I won't be streaming encoding on the CPU as well as playing the game. So I'm going to go up a little bit, but I'm going to go right. You take a look at some of these. Then we see this, which again is weird. Like someone with an RTX 2080 is at 49.1. And then if we start moving right across to here, you're starting to see the 2080 Ti is at 76. So you go top right, you can see there's some people with some really nice stuff in here. i9 990, RTX 2080 Ti, etc. So there's some real biggies. And then if you want to see the outline data, then again, interesting here. So you see like the i9 980 XEs, the Threadrippers with a 2080 Ti averaging 51.3. So like, what the fuck is going on there? Whereas if you go right, 71.7, etc. With i7s, a Titan XP Collector's Edition, very nice, and a 1080 Ti. So there's variability, but if we get rid of the outliers and then just take a look back here, typically top right is 2080 Ti. We're looking at i9, 2080 Ti, i9s, i7s. So whilst the recommendation of here of anything above this specification is interesting, I don't think right now it's going to see a huge benefit for me. And I haven't tested this. I have the box right next to me, which I'll go through with you in a sec. It's still sealed. This is all live. So if I go down here, then I think this will be my last video or something similar. But I expect that I'll be moving across here. But what it will do is, whilst the frames per second is limited to server side currently, what it will do is give me a lot more system resource to stream and encode on chip using NVENC and go from there. So that is that's the telemetry app. If you haven't checked it out, you really kind of take a look, and it will help you pinpoint any deficits you've got on your. It will help any deficits that you have on your system, especially if you're doing bottleneck analysis to understand what component do you need to change or should you change. So that's it. That's telemetry. Next thing I want to do is I'm just going to take a look at the differences between the 980 and the 1080, the 2080 Ti. Sorry. So I could have gone for 2070 or something similar, but just look at the performance differences here. It's huge, right? So when I buy stuff, it's expensive, right, for a 2080 Ti, but I've ran the 980 for like 4 years now or something similar, 3 years. When you look at your pound per hour of entertainment, it's not that bad at all. But when I upgrade stuff, I want to get the latest tech to buy me the next 2, 3, 4 years. And with RTX and RTX changes, you could say it's a bit risky, but so we'll go from the top. 105% improvement. That's what I want my money to do. I don't want 10% or 20% improvement. I want 100%. Then we get into the parallax, render, gravity, and splatting, etc. You can see 113, 161, 109, 55. So the ability of the 28 obviously is a lot higher. But that's what was in my thinking again, was I don't want a little bit, I want a lot, because I want to only buy one time, you know, not having to keep on going back and getting fucking buyer's remorse or similar. So yeah, that's my thinking behind why I bought it. And if we take a look at some of the specifications, this is just the EVGA. It's the EVGA Black Edition I got. Good specs, you know, which I'm moving from 4 gig of memory to 11, but that 11's on GDDR6. Much more memory bandwidth, etc. DisplayPort information, etc. So 4 monitors max support. So that's kind of it really on the technical side. Sorry, vape. So yeah, that's it on the technical side of it, really. So lots of reasons to do it, and a big jump upgrade. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is I have a GTX box, all everything's back to front, so that's weird. Still sealed. I haven't opened it yet, and we'll just unbox right now and take a look at the content. I got some free game or something, but I don't care about that. I'm really into Star Citizen, really. It's like fucking Wolfenstein or something. I remember that when I was young. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. So let's see what is in the box. It's packed tight. That's how we'll do it. Black box, no writing. And then in here, installation guide. And a card, all still sealed. The danger sensitive area. I'm just going to whip this out real quick. Take a look. So the black edition is very close to stock. So what the front looks like, and the ports. I typically run the DVI into monitors. Remove the protective film before use. It end badly, right? So yeah, so that's the card. I'm hoping for some good performance increase. We'll see. Let's get rid of all of this. That would be fun to melt that on as soon as the card's in. Oh, and I've got a couple of photos as well to show you of my current setup. So there's the obligatory cat that was having a sniff around. I run multiple raids in here. In the back of this case, I've got 2 Samsung SSDs running in striped or striped for the operating system, and then I've got like ICE storage. These are slow mirrored drives just for large storage, and water cooled i7. There's the 980, and of course their RAM. A really dirty case that needs a good clean. So yeah, that is it really for this part. I'm gonna go ahead and install this, and then once it's in and I've stripped the drivers and reinstalled and all that stuff, then I will fire up Star Citizen and run enough data to update telemetry, and then we'll take a look at where I moved. So that's it. Whether you hope you liked it or don't like it, I'm sure that the like or dislike buttons will prove everything. So that is going to be it for now, and later on tonight I'll be back on and we'll do the overall performance test. So yeah, good to see you again, Christian. Tune in later, dude, and yeah, I'll have everything set up to run on hardware. We'll go from then. Awesome. Hope you liked it. Bye.